No one must know.
No one must know.
No one must know.
No.
No.
I'm glad that we've got our old report back.
No one must know.
Yes.
A bunch of people who do normally have goatees don't. Mm-hmm. And the people who are the reverse are eviler.
Yeah, it's not quite a straight, like, 50-50. One side is evil, one side is good. But
well, it's that the roles are flipped.
Yeah. Well,
Klingons are the good guys.
Not really. They developed the setting further in DS9 because, like... So it used to be the Terran Empire were evil and controlled everything. And then Spock, or evil Spock with the beard, actually like reformed the Empire. But that turned out to be a mistake. And so the Klingons took over, along with like the Bajorans and maybe the Cardassians.
The evil Bajorans.
The evil Bajorans. Yeah, they love to do evil Bajorans in alternate universes.
So Bajorans are just the basically space Roma.
No, they're more like space Jews. Because they have a very specific religion.
I was about to correct you, to which I went, no, that's probably the most flattering comparison to make there. Okay, if we had to talk about space Jews, well, that's a good one. I'll accept that.
I was going to not bring up the Ferengi, but space Jews in the we are displaced from our home and we've been occupied and there was a genocide, not space Jews in the horrible stereotypes.
Yeah,
what that term would evoke.
The Ferengi control Hollywood. We just need to get this out of the air. That's why Kubrick left, was because there were evil Ferengi orgies.
Oh, I like this theory. That's what Eyes Wide Shut's about.
That was the weirdest fucking conversation, and then to be yelled at by the stewardesses for our weird conversation. I told you that part. No, I did. Where
I'm probably just forgetting.
Where basically we're talking, and it's like 1 a.m, but we're talking on the airplane, and then a stewardess comes up and is like, "Shut up." not like that, not in so many words, but it was just like, you're being loud, and I thought we were speaking like I was at least speaking like a no, like a low murmur.
Who you were talking to?
Some guy on a plane.
Oh no, you did tell me.
Yeah,
this story.
Who was crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he flips out on her.
Oh god.
And then they refuse him alcohol service.
Yes.
And since he's from Alaska, he's a crippling alcoholic.
Of course. Yes.
Of course. So then he stays on the plane after we've landed to just throw a fit.
Shit.
And I was like, dude, this is not a hill to die on.
Don't people have better things to do with their time?
No. Because it's like 4 a.m.
Well, on that note, welcome to the breakup.
Welcome to the breakup.
So, apologies, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been some time. The long form project has been taking a long time.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? Today we'll be doing book 2 of Lies of Lamora and the third of Kaiji Ultimate Survivor.
Season 1.
Season 1, thank you. I think I'll just stick with this format throughout the rest of this. Jacob, you can go first. We'll do Lies and then we'll do Kaiji. This way I don't have to remember how to alternate it.
That's fair. I guess we should do a summary of book 2.
I guess so, yeah, because it's been
this is a low energy episode.
It's gonna be a low. Well, we'll pick it up. We
need to jazz this up.
We'll get there.
All right, there we are.
He's got the book now.
So, Scott Lynch.
Yes.
Is very famous, I think, much like many media luminaries of our time, like Akira Toriyama, like the guy who did Metal Gear Solid, whose name escapes me. Forces a lot of fetishes into his work.
I don't particularly remember that.
Where the graphic scatological use of horse urine.
Oh, yes.
absolutely conveys that Mr. Lynch is an utter pervert, and therefore I must completely discard this work. I thought I had loved, but turned out was merely a vehicle
for horse urine porn.
For Locke Lamora to bathe and worship in the stench of horse urine.
You know, it's been so long that you could be telling me a complete lie, and I would believe you.
You forewarned me in the last session,
yes,
that this book would become darker as it
went on. Yeah, I did warn you.
And I think it was at the point where Locke Lamora becomes sealed in a barrel of horse piss.
I forgot about this part.
No, the horse piss comes up like not a lot, but like it's
there's an important
key
chunk. Okay.
There is a key critical plot element that is horse piss related.
Yeah.
To which I was like, this is dark. Because a character introduced in the first book, spoilers.
Yeah, big spoilers, because I think I know what's about to happen.
Is tragically killed.
Yes.
They were not important to the plot as of yet.
It's the daughter of... no, she wasn't that important, but you do meet her once or twice.
And she is killed, which is tragic, and Lamora finds this out from the Don, and the Don's like, this is absolutely disgusting, and you do this, and he's like, well, at least it seems like a pretty clean death, to which the Don goes, that may or may not be true, however, we found her body in this. And he opens up a barrel reeking of ammonia and Mr. Lynch's arousal. To which...
See, okay, quick digression. Why does everyone assume when gross stuff is in books, it's a sex thing?
I don't know.
Are we just really jaded?
I don't know. Like, I'm making fun of that.
I know.
But...
I was just thinking about that. I just, like... You couldn't... I think I've said on this podcast before, you couldn't pay me to express what my sexual interests are in writing in a... What the hell? Okay. Sorry. Technical difficulties. I've lost my train of thought. Continue.
The point is, there's a lot of sadness and not quite betrayal and a dark inevitability hanging over the once happy Locke Lamora gang of the Gentlemen Thieves.
Gentlemen Bastards. I'm just going to check something.
And it had upset the once fantastical, whimsical journey we had gone on into being a great moral play of... why you should not do this for a living.
Why you shouldn't
be this.
Don't be this.
Don't be a thief, because one day someone who hates you, who is more cunning than you, is going to show up and ruin your life very systematically, if not kill you. Despite that, the descriptions in this book remain absolutely wonderful.
Oh yeah, it's really it's such a treat to read.
The fantastical nature of the city and its culture just continue to sort of grow and swell and go on and go on. And people who you think are relatively competent people are revealed to be just utterly stupid. I think when the Don, what's his face, shows up to meet the
Grey King.
The Grey King, who of course is Locke Lamora in a great twist of Locke's arm being bent behind his back and the actual Grey King being like, you gotta pretend to be me.
Yeah.
I'll be busy. That he sees a man who is gray all over and old looking and gray and literally kingly and
this
gray
is what I
and a
expected
Grey
to see.
King.
This is a Grey King.
I think anyone with a brain will go, wait a minute.
It's a little too gray.
I don't think you're the Grey King. I think you're a stand-in. Because no one would walk around like this.
Does it... I have to tread lightly because I don't want to reveal anything. Do you know what the payoff of that is yet, of what happens after that? Okay. So
it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah. Okay, so I think I know things that you... there are things that you haven't got to yet that I won't spoil.
I'm certain. The about pound and a half weight of the book...
I forgot how big that fucking thing is.
Makes it a light and delicious read between meals.
It is a page turner.
It cleans teeth.
Yep.
Fights gingivitis.
I thought you said say fights crime.
Encourages crime.
I throw this book at criminals.
There is also a very frank and beautiful depiction of sex in this book, more so than other
Is there? I've not.
other
anything.
media you've shown me, and I've thrown hissy fits over.
Yes.
Whereby Locke proceeds to not be able to get it up in front of a prostitute.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is a loving and touching, beautiful
display. That sounds about right. That sounds about the Jacob Waskow I know.
Of Locke's love for a woman who I don't think will ever be introduced in this book.
This is a spoiler of sorts. She doesn't appear in this book.
Okay, because that is a spoiler, because my working theory was, she's the Great King.
Oh, yeah.
That would be the perfect payoff here.
No.
I was doing a goof on you guys, which resulted in nearly your murder.
Killing
Fucking trolled!
No, she appears in a later book.
Not the second one. Jeez.
Yeah, kind of.
That's a low...
Draws things out.
That's a slow payoff on that one. Or we know nothing about...
Well, as I think we've discussed with any of the podcast, Jesse Cowell, the second book's kind of meh, which I didn't finish reading. But anyway, so it's still holding your interest, I take it.
Well, by virtue of being obligated to read it,
yes,
I find that when it dips, I simply go, I have to finish it, and I keep reading. There are very few dips. I believe that the flashback narrative choice can sometimes drag.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's not my favorite.
I
part
learned
of the book.
in great detail about how gang wars happen, which has less to do about dealing drugs and more about young roughs reenacting West Side Story in fantastical Venice, where like hoodlums in tough clothes just sort of show up and start snapping at you aggressively, and you either have to fucking be a punk and be like, you're a much better dancer and snapper than me. I relent.
Again, you could be completely lying about this.
Or your tougher cuz who is fighting in the Glass Wars has to show up at the end of his lessons and be like, all right, time to beat some bitches. It's my job. I punch. I punch really hard. So which results in the concluding flashback of this book being Locke Lamora sewing himself to another young lad, which sounds far more sexual than it is.
I don't know if that's the last. I think there's some more flashbacks.
No, it's the last flashback for that book.
Oh, sorry, that book. Yes.
For that section.
Sorry, you're right, yeah.
And the young lad being, why did you sew us together? To which he's like, well, my friend's going to beat you up.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, no, he's real tough. No, I don't want that. Which he proceeds to beat up Locke Lamora, and Locke Lamora's like, you can't untie us.
Because Sean is coming.
No! And that's the end.
So did you like it as much? I don't think you liked it quite as much as the first chunk of the book, but...
I think the problem of reviewing the middle part of a book...
the middle of a book.
...is that it is the middle of the book.
No, that's kind of where I thought
everything, all the plates are in the air. I'm watching them spin.
Yeah, things are about to come down.
I can comment on the shape of the plates, the color of the plates, and the artistry of the plates. I can't tell you where they're going to land or which ones are going to break when they land.
Well, that's good. You don't know what's coming.
I think that... the weird digression of cuckoldry is a weird one.
I don't remember. God, I remember so little of this.
Where Locke Lamora and Chum just randomly find a woman cheating on her partner with some dude. And the dude's like, stop looking at us, perverts, because they're climbing on some window sills.
Yeah, right. They're running up, yeah.
To which they're like, we're not perverts, we're just climbing... We're just randomly climbing on roofs. What's your problem?
What's your fucking problem? I realized that a lot of our show, this is another digression, does involve us complaining about about sex in the books and movies and things we force each other to read and review.
We're very puritanical.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's weird. We kind of are.
I don't mind about the sex. I'm a little rolls my eyes at...
the horse urine.
No, that I'm actually even okay with.
Kind of into that.
That turns me on. It's that... The guy she's cheating on throws a fit, falls out of the window trying to beat them up, and so they're kind of like half in.
Yeah.
And so the husband barges in drunk, and thinks that his partner, who is cheating on him, but is cheating on him with Locke and
Jean,
and Jean in a menage a trois. And then she lies to him by saying, these ruffians were about to rape me. So, full on, like, lies within lies within lies. And this dude's fucking hammered, so he believes it.
I think I've forgotten the entire middle section of this book, because I remember the beginning pretty well, and I don't remember...
It's that I'm describing very small sections.
Yeah, but I couldn't tell you what happens in the middle of the book, and I like this book a lot, but I remember the ending quite well.
I guess that explains why I've spent 22... can't be 22 minutes. An amount of time.
I think I spend more time on... I think I'm more to blame for this particular gap in the schedule.
I think...
Please don't say we're going to punish each other. I just can't. I can't right now. I can't take it.
Well, I don't think there's literally time. Because we're going to do a grace of guest episodes.
Yes, we are doing a gauntlet of guests. Ooh, let's call it the gauntlet of guests.
I think that punishment is its own reward.
Yeah, that so often is. You know, that should be our tagline.
I think that my next honest suggestion to you will be more of a shot in the dark than
usual.
Than usual. And we will just see how that goes. And that will be punishment enough to know that I will give you something that will be a complete joy for me. Okay. And I don't know what for you. So, Lies of Locke Lamora, solid B plus middle of an A minus book.
Hey, most books, the middle part is the slow part. And if you can do a B, that's pretty damn good. So, moving on. Kaiji Ultimate Survivor, episodes... I think we got to 20 something,
21 or 22.
I watched like 9 or 10 on.
We watched a fair chunk,
big chunk. So
almost 1.5 arcs.
So in the second half of Kaiji Ultimate Survivor, the first half Kaiji has to play high stakes
rock paper
scissors. In the second half, oh man, shit gets real. So. Picture it. Some months later, Kaiji is in a dead-end job, like he would, and he tries to... he gets accused of robbing his boss. And it turns out another guy who works there did this. Don't worry, I'm leading up to something. And they kind of like hang out and chat and like smoke weed or something. And then, what's the name of the guy?
Ando.
Then Mr. Ando shows up and is like, hey, you have a huge debt. Why don't you come and try to pay that off? We definitely have a thing that you could do that with. Words are failing me. Kaiji
You're just so excited.
Kaiji, being a fucking moron, says yes. And so does the other guy who stole the money from their boss. So they go to this fancy hotel in like downtown Tokyo or wherever they are. And it turns out that rather than playing like high stakes card games, the new gimmick is tightrope walking across like
a girder, like
a girder, yeah, and having rich men yell at you and mock you and bet on who's gonna fall first.
Now,
and it's
what do you mean by fall?
By fall, I mean like break your leg and back and things, like just a sheer drop onto what I imagine may be concrete.
There's some padding, I believe.
The's a little padding,
not enough to stop limbs from breaking.
It's gonna hurt.
Like it's like 2 or 3 stories.
Yeah. And whoever gets, it's a race, so whoever gets there first gets a certain amount of money, and you can push people off. Like, that's kind of part of the strategy. And so, Kaiji and Ko, he re-meets a wimpy guy he met from the previous not
thing. One of the ones who betrayed him.
Not one of the ones who betrayed him.
One he saved,
The guy he saved, yes. They'd say a lot of philosophical bullshit, and Kaiji's kind of shitty to him. But then, so they go across, a bunch of people fall off, Kaiji gets to the end, but he doesn't get any money because he's kind of like last place. And the evil gangsters who are running this racketeering scheme are like, so yeah, you won these IOUs for money. You got to go up to the office to collect. And they're like, well, how do we get over to the office? Oh, well, let me show you. And
you're missing a key detail where they say, oh, regrettably, the elevators still aren't working in this hotel yet.
The hotel's under construction.
Yeah, so you're going to have to reach the other side of that part of the hotel. and we have set up a walkway for you to do this.
Yeah. And so the walkway is just another set of girders. This time at the top of not a
12-story building, basically.
Yeah, way high in the air. There are no nets. You're gonna die if you fall off.
Mm-hmm.
And the twist is, if you try to fall forward and crawl on your hands, that's considered a disqualification. But not only is that a disqualification from going to collect your money, they've put cattle prods on these beams so that you will get shocked and just fall off. And what transpires is a harrowing tale of survival and friendship put to the test. Now, we did get kind of into the third arc, and I'm kind of thinking I want to save that story for the third episode, because I feel like that, unless without spoiling anything, do the circumstances that where I left off, do they significantly change for the last few episodes? Or is that more continuing that story?
There is a whole other arc you're about to go to.
Okay. Then let's include this. So that's the first bit. So long story short, Kaiji is the only survivor of this. All of the people who go across, they all die. They all fall off. And Kaiji's buddy, who he saved, he sacrifices himself so Kaiji will continue on.
That's kind of an understatement.
That's a little bit of an understatement. Yeah, it's hard to describe.
I could describe it if you want. This is your description.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk to it
sure.
in the agree. His buddy from the place where he stole, or the guy who stole the stuff from his boss, also dies. And Kaiji eventually, the only one, realizes there is literally a glass staircase going up to the top floor. Because if you actually get to the end of the girders and you open the door, the air pressure knocks you off the building in the biggest fuck you I've ever seen in a TV show. And so Kaiji, I'll try to get through the rest of this. Kaiji goes up. They give him one more offer for a gamble. This time it's a variation of rock, paper, scissors, where I won't go into the details of the game. You can look it up. It's called, what is the game called?
E-Card.
E-Card. You play E-Card. It's sort of a bluffing game. Yeah. And he plays it against the guy who's kind of been running all these games. Tonagawa.
Who waxes philosophical a lot.
He has a lot to say. Anyway, the twist of this is that the way you bet on this game is they latch a drill to your ear, and the tiny drill, you bet a certain amount of millimeters as it presses further and further into you. And if you lose, you lose your hearing. And there is a way of doing it so you don't lose your hearing, but Kaiji goes all for, he's got to make $20 million.
The option they say is you can get your eye or your ear. One of the
As I said to Jacob, that is no choice. It's the ear. Everyone chooses ear. No one chooses eye. So anyway, Kaiji has to, he thinks he's winning at first, as he always gets overconfident and thinks he understands how it works. And then he painfully doesn't. And he realizes that the guy's cheating.
Yeah.
And this is the reason I kind of wanted to get to this. Kaiji is like, okay, they're using polygraph techniques on him.
They're using polygraph techniques in the thing that's drilling into my ear.
in the thing that's drilling into her. So he goes to the bathroom and he's starts bashing his head into the mirror. And then he takes a shard of glass and cuts off his ear. And hands the device to another guy so that they're still detecting a pulse and whatnot. And he sits there and he plays the game and he beats the guy, or at least he beats him for a couple of rounds,
missing his ear.
Yeah. And he makes a huge gamble where it's 10 centimeters and if it, or 10, not 10 centimeters, 10 millimeters, and if it goes, it'll actually go into his brain. It'll die.
Yeah.
So all that being said, this is kind of where we left off, and I might cut a lot of that description I just made. So
I feel like there's a great audio joke to be made of you speeding yourself up.
Yeah. So at first I wasn't sure I liked it as much. The rock paper scissors strategy thing was actually quite interesting to me, even though it's really technical. But I think just for the sheer escalation of stakes at every turn, it is bizarrely compelling. Like, this is one of the most compelling shows I've ever watched. It's not the best show I've ever watched.
But it's definitely
It's not
compelling.
my favorite show. It's really compelling, and I want to know what will happen next, because I never really can tell. It continues to skirt that line between this is so astonishingly stupid and self-important, but also, like, this is the greatest thing.
I feel some remorse from your description of that. Because there are so many beautiful moments in this show that we get to share together about the living life conditionally.
Yes.
And having to make the conscientious choice of risking your life for like $200,000.
This kind of, well, here's the thing. This continues to be my problem with a lot of Japanese media. Or I don't know if this is a Japanese media thing, or if it's just we get so much Japanese media and this is just sort of lazy story.
By we get so much Japanese media, you mean?
I mean,
I give you so
no,
much.
me. This is the royal we. It does have that issue of it's a lot of tell and not a lot of show, but I caveat that with Kaiji literally will show you like the crazy metaphor that they are describing. And visually, it's so amazing. Like, there's moments where Kaiji is, like, about to reach a place. He's imagining reaching, like, a lighthouse or something. And then his two asshole friends drag him into the sea. like gremlins of the sea. And I love that. Like, you could turn off the audio on a lot of these things, and it would be just as clear. So, but it does, you know, this is not really Kaiji's.
There is a project for film school to re-edit the whole bridge arc.
Oh, yeah.
And making that like a short film rather
you
than,
could do that, yeah.
And it would be like, I think in total, like maybe 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
And it would be very, very good.
Yeah.
And much better than what you see.
The narrator is both the best thing and the worst thing about Kaiji. Because sometimes he's just like, oh yeah, I actually needed to know that. I didn't understand what was happening.
And then it's also
and sometimes he just breaks in and tells me literally what I just saw. But again, I do think the show is kind of making fun of that quality in certain anime, the over explanations. But it does have some really nice tender moments too. Like I say, it is a stupid show, which it assuredly is, but it does have a heart to it. Particularly the guy who sort of sacrifices himself.
Would you like to, in a massive spoiler here, we should probably describe
we're spoiling all of
the
it.
massive sacrifice this guy makes.
So I'll try to describe this and then you can correct me. Basically what happens is, as they're crossing this bridge, all of their nerves just start to get to them and they all start hallucinating because they're so goddamn scared. And the guy realizes that Kaiji cares about him and is distracted by his fear for him, like that fear for Kaiji's friend. And so he covers his mouth so that he doesn't scream when he falls.
12 stories to his death.
Even more than 12 stories. This has not been answered yet, but I have a real interesting question about how the hell is this hotel okay with this slaughter?
That gets explained.
Okay, yeah, no.
But there's a critical point of that description where you're missing, which I think is like the best shot in this show.
Oh, yeah.
Where,
the guy falling?
No, almost. The guy looks Kaiji in the eye, and they're on this beam, and he's like, take my vouchers.
Yeah.
There's a woman at this pachinko parlor who's my wife. I've ruined her life. Just give my money to her, please. And Kaiji's like, dude, shut up. Like, you're going to make it, and I'm not going to do that for you. Why would you ever trust me? He's like, I believe fundamentally you're a good person. Take these. I'm too weak. Yeah, and then so Kaiji ultimately just takes it. And then Kaiji walks along a bit, and the narrator talks a lot about what Kaiji's internal process is. Yeah. And then at that moment, Kaiji gets a bit of hope. And he's like, oh, you know what? We're more than halfway across. Like, we could do this. And so he turns back and says, dude, just buck up. We're almost there. And he turns. And there's nothing.
Yeah.
There's an empty walkway behind him. And it's the shot of him looking at nothing and just his face practically melting as he's like, and just wailing screams as he realizes that the guy just covered his mouth as he fell.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny. You chastised Jesse was enemy of the podcast. Jesse Cowell was watching this with us, and we were laughing. And you chastised this because you said it's an amazing moment, and I completely agree. It's just so ridiculous, but in a really amazing
Lynchian way.
This show, Lynchian. It is Lynchian. It wears its heart on its sleeve, and it doesn't care that there is absolutely zero subtlety to anything it does. That being said, I like the e-card stuff better than the bridge.
Yeah.
Because the bridge is not as visually interesting, and it kind of gets bogged down in a lot of the exposition and a lot of the, indulging in the philosophical nihilism of Tonegawa and so on and so on and so on. And I got a little tired of that, but the e-card stuff is really cool.
Because there's more...
I just like cards.
Well, in the e-card stuff, there's more... there's more details to get lost in.
Yeah,
and describing the math of it and the betting and the risk.
Yeah, it's funny because usually I find that stuff total anathema in media, but
the
I
narrator
find it
makes it so
fascinating.
Good. Yeah.
Well, just watching someone try, it's not realistic, but watching the gears in someone's head trying to figure out how to outwit someone in a game that they are grotesquely, the odds are grotesquely stacked against them. That's fascinating to watch, even if it's not realistic. And Kaiji continues to be the smartest dumb person in the universe. Every time he's like, I've got this. I've figured this out. I totally know what I'm doing. I'm going to make $1 million. Oh no, they have defeated me. How unexpected.
There are long moments in some of those episodes of Kaiji just utterly dead.
Yeah.
He's Walking Dead.
Just fucked. Just fucked.
There is the very sort of quickly forgotten point. By the time they're playing e-card, it's 3 a.m, and he's been on all day.
Yeah, they don't really talk about it, but we kind of realized, he's just exhausted right now. And
he risked his life for what feels like 3 hours straight.
Yeah. and he's bleeding, and he's gonna
blood loss. He's gonna
die. There's an introduction of the kind of the. I wouldn't call him the true villain. I would say Tonegawa's the villain of the show, but there's this evil old man who's running all of this because literally this old man gets hard watching people suffer.
Yeah.
He literally takes the guys who fell off of the first bridge challenge and broke their legs and their arms and things, and he just pays them to lie in the hallway of his building and just pokes them with a stick so they'll scream. And this guy is just getting the biggest fucking erection you've ever seen in your life.
I can't say anything about that.
Yeah,
God.
Yeah.
I really want to,
so
but I can't.
The stakes are high. Things are happening. I can't wait to see how this thing ends. I don't think I quite liked it as much as the first half or the first chunk, but I definitely liked it a lot. I thought it might kind of fall off, but it didn't. No pun intended. So I give Kaiji Part 2.
Part
2. I'll give that that's an A-. I think I did I say what did I say the first one was?
Oh.
An A. It's so fucking long. So now we must come up with a common theme. We are still on letter F. Last time was felony. Fall. Yes.
Now I'm free.
That was good. Oh no, I hate that song.
Free
I hate it so much.
falling.
Oh, I hate that noxious piece of crap.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I hate it. I hate that song. I detest it. I don't care that it's being ironic. I think it's stupid.
This isn't quite the Blue Monday incident all over again, but I'm kind of just irrationally upset at his taste.
You should be. Most people like that song. I don't like it.
Oh no, I don't like it either.
That's the Jacob Waskow I know.
I didn't say I liked it,
but
I'm upset that you're angry over it. Don't let it give you that power.
Christ in heaven. Okay, so next time we're finishing.
It's a short episode. I feel
that was 44 minutes.
That's not all 44 minutes.
I mean, we talked for a few.
Well,
I like it. I like to get in a tight 30. I think that's clean.
Fine. Yeah. Tight 30 it is.
Or whatever. It's probably 35. But anyway, next time we'll be finishing our long forms with the end of Lamora and the end of Kaiji, and then the Gauntlet of Guests. We'd like to thank Irritating Rainbow for our theme song, You Broke It. You can find a link to their their stuff in the description. You really should. Irritating Rainbow. I don't know if we talked about this a lot. Irritating Rainbow is a really good band. I was re-listening to some of their stuff, and they're just really good.
We don't talk a lot about things we both like on this show.
Well, I feel like
that's not engaging.
I feel like that is a thing we need to subject to someone. Is an Irritating Rainbow album. Like that is a for.
But we've already done that for free.
Well, it's one song.
Well,
we could do our Irritating Rainbow mixtape. He's thinking about it. He's pondering.
I think we can do that, but it needs to be Irritating Rainbow in concept.
Oh, you know what we should do? We should ask Ryan and Peter to give us a playlist.
If you are going to be like, this is us in musical form, what would your... It's just 11 versions of Where the Warboat Stuck. Just 11 times of someone screaming Where the Warboat Stuck repeatedly for an hour.
We're getting way into the in-jokes now. Okay, so final thought.
You can cut it out, future Sam.
Post-production, Sam, thank you. And now Jacob Waskow will read an excerpt of Scott Lynch's The Lies of Loch Lamora. It's about horse pee, isn't it?
I'm trying to find the
That might be good enough.
I guess it is.